In 1955, acclaimed actor Charles Laughton co-wrote and directed his one and only feature, The Night of the Hunter. The film was a failure on all fronts. Neither critics nor audience members understood it. But nowadays, ask any film scholar or critic about the film, and they'll most likely call it one of the best of all time, a stylistically sharp and superbly acted masterpiece of its era that still holds up incredibly well today. This story is both tragic and weirdly reassuring, right? On one hand, Laughton didn't live long enough to see his only film become a classic, but on the other hand, who's to say how certain films today will age, or what they'll mean to audiences 50 years from now? Just because your film isn't well received in the moment doesn't mean it's necessarily dead. I say all of this because I see The Night of the Hunter as one of the earliest examples of a trend that, now more than ever, is all too familiar in Hollywood. Actors dipping their toes into directing, and every now and then producing some of the most unique work of their time. Work that we're often not ready for. Yes, every time an actor decides they want to direct a feature, it comes with a safety net that most first-time directors simply do not have, but you also get the kinds of big swings that other directors would typically never get away with, at least in their first feature. Ryan Gosling's Lost River from 2014 is a prime example of this. The film follows a single mother who finds herself in a surreal underworld as her sons find a road to an underwater town. The film released just a year after Gosling's second team-up with Nicholas Winding Refn in Only God Forgives, an experience that was clearly pretty influential to Gosling as a director. The film has this unique blend that you only see in debuts by established actors. Achingly personal details that debuts are built for, but with the resources to make it really easy to overindulge, which this certainly does. The film was horribly received at Cannes, and ultimately swept under the rug by Warner Brothers upon release. In a streak of stoic, cloudy art house flicks that I personally tend to enjoy, this was a career rock bottom for Gosling, the last film before he would start swinging back into critical acclaim with The Big Short, Nice Guys, and La La Land. But putting it simply, much of Lost River's shortcomings stem from the fact that he's ultimately just trying to be Nicholas Winding Refn. It's not uncommon to see an actor lean on their influences too hard when making their debut, but a recent and more positive example of this is Harris Dickinson's film Urchin from this year, which tells the story of a homeless man trying to break free of a toxic cycle. This film, which coincidentally also premiered at Cannes, felt bound for the same comically attractive actor making poverty porn accusations, this time borrowing from the work of Mike Leigh. But instead, this ended up being a highlight of the year, a genuine down-to-earth approach to a touchy subject that felt more like an homage to the modern realism of Leigh than a ripoff. Dickinson uses his experience as an actor to put all his attention into Frank Delane's performance, which is the backbone of the entire film. Oftentimes, it's choices like these when a director can cultivate a sense of realism rather than over-direct, where the strongest work comes out. Some of my favorite actor to directors are those you didn't even realize had extensive filmographies. Look at Ben Stiller and George Clooney. Did you know Clooney made a historical rowing drama called The Boys in the Boat in 2023? Now you do. But most notably, there's Ben Affleck.
Bueno, sí. Aquí siéntate, por favor. Qué grande. Wow, muy impresivo, gracias.
Affleck's directing career started with Gone Baby Gone in 2007, not long after a pretty tumultuous period of his career in the public eye. The film, like many of these debuts, pulled from his personal life and even starred his brother Casey. It was met with fairly positive reviews upon release and was widely praised for its competent direction. A common theme you'll see in his directing work is the word competent. Affleck's work is never over-directed, and it's never truly bad. He has a tremendous sense of stability behind the camera. His movies look nice, they sound nice, he gets good performances out of his actors. Basically, he gets the job done. This is a feat easier said than done, and it's something I really admire about his work, especially for an A-list actor. I see his clear love for directing and his skill at it to be pretty telling for someone once labeled the most overexposed actor. It's the work of someone who clearly knows how to tell stories and feels most comfortable and confident doing so behind the camera. Some actors can do it all though. Look at what many people call the best film of all time, Citizen Kane. That's a debut starring and directed by Orson Welles. Dennis Hopper's Easy Rider is a personal favorite and one I always forget was in fact directed by Hopper. Perhaps most interestingly though, is the work of Clint Eastwood. Eastwood is perhaps the most successful example in this video, and by that I mean of all time. His directing work goes pretty deep, going all the way back to 1971 and going up all the way to last year. His work is financially successful, he's won 2 Best Pictures, but what's relevant to this video is that he acts in a lot of his own movies, and it's never just him acting in them for convenience sake, it's always personal to him. It means something that he's in these movies. Unforgiven is my personal favorite Clint film, as it feels the most transparent about his place in the Western genre. In many ways, it's what kicked off a lot of the kinds of films that he's making today. say. Actors who turn to directing oftentimes use it as a platform to exercise complete control, and Eastwood's work is emblematic of that approach, functioning most of the time like glimpses into his mind, a kind of transparency you don't often get with Hollywood royalty. Unforgiven specifically acts as a debunking of the American myth, one made all the more powerful with Clint at the center of the film, given his history as a leading man in said myth. It's an idea he's carried with him through all his late-stage work, demystifying the American hero. This is the kind of artistic output that's only possible with his history as an actor, his willingness to star in his own films, and the deep self-reflection required to clearly communicate this personal reckoning on screen. What's really interesting, though, is having a unique voice as a director, and specifically as an actor-turned-director, is where the bar is set these days. In 2017, there was a shift. Greta Gerwig and Jordan Peele both dropped their long-awaited directorial debuts, Lady Bird and Get Out. Both were writer-director projects, neither starred their directors, and both felt immediately like fresh perspectives on their respective genres, horror and coming of age. Each of them were giant hits, they both got nominated for Best Picture, and checking in now, each filmmaker is 3 films deep at the time of writing this, and most people would agree that they each have some of the most distinct and promising directorial visions in the industry right now. Their career trajectories alone have raised the bar for actors turning into directors, specifically turning the role of director back into being one of a star. Hell, it doesn't even have to be that good. Look at Olivia Wilde. Would Don't Worry Darling have been as much of a thing had it been directed by some guy? Of course not. Films, no matter the size, are inherently personal. Every choice reflects the director's outlook on life and what this medium means to them. Which is to say, when the director is someone we already know, it feels like we're peeling back the curtain a bit, seeing a part of them we never knew existed. It's dangerous, and for that reason, it's intriguing for everyone involved. It's why Bradley Cooper's filmography, even at its tamest, is gonna fascinate me for the rest of my life. It always feels like he's just a couple scenes away from a total mental breakdown. And I love it. To reel things in a bit, you look at the programming at this year's film festivals, and it's evident that it has never been hotter to be an actor in the director's chair. It's also never been harder to authentically stand out. Not everyone comes out clean here. Look at Charlie Day, Chris Pine, even Kyle Mooney. Look at the great examples of actor-turned-directors who didn't keep going, like Paul Dano, Marlon Brando, and I'll bite, Lin-Manuel Miranda. If there are any takeaways from looking at the countless examples of actors directing throughout film history, it's that directing is exhausting, and to a lot of people not even worth it. The ones who make it out clean love it. You get the sense, even in the lackluster efforts, that this is what they were put here to do, and you can certainly feel it when that isn't the case. Who knows, man? Maybe like Night of the Hunter, the world just isn't ready for Pool Man quite yet. But ultimately, I would hope that by the end of this video, you would agree that actors pursuing directing is a much more interesting idea than many give it credit for. These are films made from the perspectives of some of society's most interesting people, and when it goes right, it has the potential to encapsulate everything great about cinema. And you know what? That's what I got. Thanks for watching. Go watch a film directed by an actor and form your own opinion, and before you head out. I want to thank this week's sponsor, Squarespace, the all-in-one website platform for entrepreneurs to stand out and succeed online. With Squarespace's collection of cutting-edge design tools, anyone can build a bespoke online presence that perfectly fits their brand or business. They offer a complete library of professionally designed and award-winning website templates with options for every use and category. No matter where you start, your website is flexible to what you need, with intuitive drag and drop editing, beautiful styling options, unrivaled visual design effects, and more ways to list what you offer, no experience required. I also love the fact that you can get discovered fast with integrated Squarespace SEO tools. Every website is optimized to be indexed with meta descriptions and auto-generated sitemap and more, so that you show up more often on search engines and bring in more of your ideal customers. Squarespace also makes it super easy to showcase your expertise and engage clients with video content on your website. Upload and organize your videos, create stunning video libraries, and even monetize your content by adding a paywall. It's perfect for online courses, exclusive tutorials, and premium workshops. Head to squarespace.com/Karsten for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, use offer code Karsten to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.